Welcome to the Landtalk about the change of an industrial site in Heerbrugg, a village in the canton of St. Gallen in eastern Switzerland. My guest is Adrian Oehler. Adrian, what is your connection to this place?
My parents had a bakery and a shop for living goods. Our house was adjoining to the area of a brick factory.
You lived there. How did it look like?
The area of the factory was really big, and there was a fence around it. It was prohibited for us children to go there, but a few times I was playing there with other kids. I was between 5 and 7 years old. I remember that one day another boy took a pile of metal clips out of a box, and so I also took some, which of course was forbidden to do. I knew only today, because of this interview, that the factory wasn't running anymore at that time. As a child, I wasn't aware of this fact.
What was the cause for the change of the industrial site?
In the year of 1971, the factory burned down. That day was a big excitement. The first fire brigade who noticed the fire was from across the border from Austria. It was said that they saw it first because they were flying with a helicopter that day. Then they alarmed the Swiss fire brigades. When they arrived, they broke down the fence near our house to get access. The flames were really high, maybe 20 to 30 meters, and the air was very hot. My father was splashing water on the shutters of our house with a garden hose. But all the same, the paint on the shutters was melting and there were huge blisters of paint remaining.
How did it look like after the factory burned down?
When the fire was extinguished, the whole factory was a ruin. A few days after, they had to bust the two big chimneys. Everybody was watching. The ground was leveled with bulldozers. It was covered with broken bricks, and there was no fence anymore. By the years, there was vegetation growing. First small plants and then bigger ones. I remember coltsfoot, goldenrod, summer lilac, and birch. There were also many butterflies and lizards. The park behind the factory was overgrowing. A part of the area was paved, so there were no plants, and also the oil tank was remaining.
What did you do there?
I was playing there with my brothers and many times alone. I remember once in winter time I was even trying cross country with my alpine skis when there was enough snow. When I was a teenager, the area with higher plants was an important sanctuary to escape from my family's house. It was always busy there with many people working because of the bakery and the shop. One was never staying alone in the house.
What is the situation today?
Well, about 25 years ago, a supermarket and a big parking were built. And in the last few years, they built a second supermarket from another company. Where the park was, there is now a tunnel to underpass the railway line. Before, there was a railroad crossing close to my parents' house. That railroad crossing doesn't exist anymore. The part of the road on the opposite side of the railway line was a footpath along the rails. In between was a meadow as and it served as a sheep pasture. All the houses behind the footpath were broken down and replaced with new buildings.
Adrian, thank you very much for the interesting interview.